After the first public announcement of the Mosquito, Britain's wooden bomber, the fastest bomber in the world, a tight censorship was enforced, and although we were able to describe one or two sorties and adventures, it is only now that we are beginning to be allowed to disclose a little more of the methods employed in handling this novel weapon of assault, and of how it fits into the air offensive. It must be quite clear to all that there is a great economy of war effort if you fly bombs straight to a specific target, put them right in the middle of it, and get away faster than the enemy's fastest fighter. That is what the Mosquito is doing, and has been doing since May 1942. In night bombing, enormous loads of bombs have to be rained down on large areas to be at all sure of hitting individual objectives. Some objectives are so big that night bombing is the best thing to deal with them. But it takes a mighty lot of aircraft construction, big numbers of trained crews, thousands of gallons of petrol, and great quantities of bombs. This Mosquito method is more audacious, more difficult in some ways, more heavy in percentage casualties, but it is most exact in its effect. It was never intended to replace night bombing and never could, but for the special job it is startlingly effective, and there is nothing to touch it at present in value for bomb load. We may now tell you that the Mosquito carries 4 500-pound bombs, and that many of the attacks are made either at dusk, using daylight to navigate up to the target and darkness for the homeward trip, or at dawn with a shield of darkness until approaching the target area and streaking home in daylight in time for breakfast. Cloud cover is a great help, provided the cloud is not too low. You probably know that the crew is two only, both up in the front, sitting side by side except when the high-level precision bombing requires the observer to use the prone bomb-aiming position in the nose. The rear part of the fuselage contains the radio, oxygen supply, and a fair bit of mix of fixed equipment. The rear hatch is closed before takeoff, and the crew cannot go aft in flight. In the crew room, the crews learn every detail of the target area by heart. For the famous Oslo raid, September the 25th, they had collections of photographs, picture postcards, and street maps, and learned all the locality and approaches. Especially must they know the contours, whether their target will come into view just after they have crossed a rise in the ground, which would give them very little time for final maneuver, and so forth. Having checked all equipment, run up their two precious Rolls-Royce engines, exercised the pitch changing of their de Havilland propellers, and closed their bomb doors, they are signalled away, take off and get into formation. The observer navigates up to within 8 or 10 miles of his target, instructing the pilot what courses to fly on, and then the pilot takes over for the attack. The observer operates the radio and also keeps a lookout aft for hostile fighters. When Mosquitoes are attacking in 2s, 4s, or larger formations, the leading observer does all the navigation up to the run-up, and the other observers are thus all the freer for searching the sky. The great thing in crossing the sea is to hit off the landmark exactly, because the navigation is by landmarks thereafter, and it is difficult to keep up with them when flying lower than the tall trees. Most important is to start this hectic cross-country at exactly the right point on the coast, and most important is to go to that point fast and direct, and not have to search up and down the coast for it. Surprise is the whole thing. The last few miles, the attackers have to be dead on their line, and that means within a few yards, because there's only one run-up, no second chance. Bomb doors are opened when the pilot takes over the navigation, a couple of minutes or less before the great moment. Then, at rooftop heights, and at not quite full speed, over they go, planting their bombs right in the building or whatever the target is. They use delayed action bomb fuses so that the bombs won't explode till the last aircraft is well past, and you can see that it is necessary to keep tight formation for this reason alone. From rooftop height, The bombs are still flying horizontal as they strike the ground or the side of a building, and they often ricochet. Great care is used, and deliberate ricochets are possible, for instance when slipping a bomb neatly into a railway tunnel. A bomb will sometimes bounce higher than the aircraft, an interesting sight for the observer looking back. One evening early in January, 2 dusk attacks were made simultaneously on 2 railway yards. The boys on number 1 raid, a small formation attack, said they made a clean approach, and some light flak came up a mile before the target, when they were in echelon to starboard with their bomb doors open. None of the bombers got hit. Then some heavy batteries opened up with short fused shells, but these burst harmlessly way up above the Mosquitoes. Going straight in at 0 feet, they blew up a rolling stock repair shop, engine sheds, and a lot of trucks. Meanwhile, number 2 raid went for their target just as low. In fact, one aircraft came back with twigs off a tree. They put their bombs right in the sidings yard and reckoned that no trains could leave that depot for some little time. At rooftop height, the Mosquito has very good chances against enemy fighters as well as flak. In the Oslo raid, the Focke-Wulf 190s that came after them down the valleys got left well and truly behind. And it was very bad luck that the last of the 4 Mosquitoes got shot down by a couple of Focke-Wulf 190s which just happened to be well placed. As a matter of fact, no modern fighters were expected near Oslo, but we heard afterwards that the Germans had staged a demonstration of latest types that day at Kjeller Field near Oslo, and 2 190s were in the air as our attack came up the fjord. And besides speed, the Mosquito has it on manoeuvrability. We may now state that when a Mosquito was attacked by a Focke-Wulf 190A3, it went into so tight a turn that the 190 with its bigger turning circle couldn't get a sight on it. These aerodynamic qualities in the Mosquito do credit to a number of very unassuming engineers and test pilots who never come into the limelight and never want to. The rate of climb of the Mosquito is almost as astounding as the speed, and the range, with 2,000 pounds of bombs, is out of all proportion to what 2 aeroplanes having 1 Merlin engine apiece could do. Yet the speed, climb, turn, and all-round handling are about the same. This great range naturally makes the Mosquito a very mobile type. In one theatre of war today, and away to another overnight. Think what that means. We may also reveal now the fact that losses in Mosquito bomber squadrons have been light, though they have done grand work. The wood construction has proved up to its job, resisting flak and maltreatment and fire well, and its buoyancy has been a big source of comfort and security to crews staggering damaged across stretches of sea. Mosquitoes have floated for hours and hours. A cheering thing reported by Mosquito crews has been the very obvious attitude of the Dutch people and others. This has been remarked in the papers many times before, but it pleased us to get it first hand. The sight of these people standing in the open and waving to our Mosquitoes has been a common experience for our crews, while the Germans usually dive for cover if they have time. At night our crews see V's flashed from electric torches, sometimes incessantly as they fly over. One of our pilots flashed the V from his recognition lamp while crossing Holland one night, and the signal was returned to him all along the route. The nature of the air war is continually changing with new developments, and the art is to keep just that possible little bit ahead of the enemy. That is what the Mosquito has achieved, and while the reply is being prepared, the R.A.F. and our designers are working out the next stage.